but I get lost alone. But when I'm with you, I'm no longer wandering. And when I'm with you, I swear I can breathe. And when I'm with you, I know who I am and who I wanna be. I'm not trying to be dramatic, no. Most times I'm pretty normal. Oh, but let's be clear and honest here and do away with anything formal. I can fake it on my own, but I am lost alone. And when I'm with you, I'm no longer wandering. And when I'm with you, I swear I can breathe. And when I'm with you, I know who I am and who I wanna be. Who I wanna be. I am wide-eyed with a penchant for running. But how many times does it take till I find that I'm lost when I'm alone? And that's not where I belong. 'Cause when I'm with you, I'm no longer wandering. When I'm with you, I can finally breathe. When I'm with you, I swear to God, I swear to God, I'm who I wanna be. I'm who I wanna be. I'm who I wanna be.
My name is James Cooper, and it's my mission to make you a more powerful storyteller. Hello and welcome to today's live. So excited that you're here. And yes, I want to make sure that you guys can hear me. I think I can. I see my meters going. All the joys of going live. Hi, Angela. How are you? Angela is calling or watching from Idaho. Awesome. I've never been to Idaho. I've actually wanted to go a long time. My acting professor, I went to the University of Michigan. My acting professor, he moved from Michigan to go teach at University of Idaho, or it was Idaho State, one of the others. Anyway, today we're going to be talking about legacy, and we're going to be talking about infusing your vision into your content. So essential. I don't know if you guys saw, I went live on my personal page today because I just got all mush. Alex basically told me that Theo was really concerned about people on the street with it being so hot. And Alex has been doing this thing for in Water Drop LA, helping people survive the heat wave. It was 122 degrees in Los Angeles. I think it broke a record. So she's been freezing water bottles in the freezer and then giving them to people that she sees on the street. And Theo, who's 5, by the way, got really inspired. He wanted to know what he could do. Is there something that he could do? And so he and Alex kind of brainstormed, and she said, why don't you paint? Why don't you paint some pictures and we could sell them, and then the money will go to Water Drop LA. He thought that was a great idea, and he started. So I have a little video that I pulled from Insta Stories.
Hi, my name is Theo, and I painted the paintings because I want to donate the money to Water Drop LA, so it would help homeless people get more water. During this heat wave, they need most of it. So I want to make the paintings to earn the money to donate it.
I just love that voice. I know that voice will eventually go away, but I just love that little voice. Anyway, so it really inspired me, and I just started just like blah, just thinking about my son and how empathetic he is, and just how amazing he is, and it inspired me. It's like it's not every day that your son inspires you to be a better person. And I start, examining what am I doing? What am I doing to contribute? And so it really helped me focus on legacy and what is the legacy that you want to leave? How do you want to be remembered? One of the questions that I ask when I film clients to kind of get to a deeper why is I say, okay, if we were at the end of your life and we were looking back, if we were at the end of your life and looking back, what's one thing that you would want to pass on? Because obviously you can't, it's not about wealth and it's not about stuff. We enter this world with nothing, we leave this world with nothing. But what bit of advice would you want to pass on to people? What would you want them to know? If you could only tell them one thing, what bit of wisdom would you want to pass on? And it really starts to get to a deeper why of why you do what you do, or what's a life lesson that you really want to impart. Because it comes down to your core values, what you stand for, what you stand against, what you believe in. And so these are good questions to ask when writing out your vision for whether it's your business or your life or your company or whatever legacy you want to create, figuring out what is it that I really want to get across to my audience. Now, why is this important? Great question. I'm glad I asked. It's important because people are moved through emotion. People are moved to take action through the beliefs and values that they hold. If the values and beliefs are not aligned with your audience, they're not going to take action and they're not going to adopt any information that you give them. That's why the challenge is with so many coaches and consultants and people teaching out there, there's about 90% of the content that's being taught is education-based content. And education-based content is important. It is important to build trust and rapport and to give your audience tips and tools to get to the next point on their journey. However, that doesn't move people. They might take on that information and they might actually do something and actually implement it. But what really gets people to want to join you is a common belief, a common value that you both share. Again, I say it pretty much every week, but it's so true. Simon Sinek, he says, people don't follow you because of what you believe. They follow you because you believe the same things that they believe. They believe the same things that you believe. And when you share your beliefs, when you share your why, what happens is a transference, and those same beliefs, if they are your audience, those same beliefs get awakened within them. And so they remember the beliefs that they have about themselves because of you. And when that happens, there's an emotional connection. There's a transfer of trust where you go, okay, I like this person. There's something about them. I believe that. I get that. I buy into that. And they are moved. They are moved because of their beliefs. They are moved because of what you're saying. And all, if you want to talk conversions and you want to talk, sales pages and buying, people are moved to purchase based on emotion. It's an emotional decision. They may back it up with rational thought, but it's an emotional decision. So if that makes sense, give me some hearts, give me some likes, give me some thumbs up, because I can't see you. It's not a Zoom, but I know you're out there. And if you're watching on replay, type into the chat, what is it about this that resonates with you? I want to share with you a video that I created for myself. I'm like the worst at creating my own videos. I'm spending so much time creating client videos that it's like I have to literally map in the calendar. I'm creating my own content. Luckily, I'm going live every week. But when it comes to creating my own videos for my business, I always put myself on the back burner to clients. But I wanted to share with you a video that I did create, which was part of a video film challenge to create your why video, your why story. And basically your why is the reason why you do what you do, the reason why you started your business, the reason that the impetus and the what was inside you that spawned that desire to walk this path. In coaching speak, we have significant emotional events that happen to our lives. I call them markers because they're like chapters in your life that you can go back to that one event and you can trace back the decisions you've made for your life based on that event. You know, I mean, you could go crazy kind of thinking about it, but it's like, what if you had made a different decision? What if you had gone to a different school? What if you had decided not to take a certain job or to take a certain job? What if you decided to go, not take that vacation? Like, there are events that have shaped you. And when you think of that event, what if that event had never happened? Your life would be in a completely different place. So sometimes in the moment, we don't think of them as big decisions. But then when we look back 10 years, 20 years, they go, oh my God, that was one of a huge moment in my life. That was a pivotal moment in my life. So I created this video talking about my why. Watch this video, listen to the language I use and how it's structured, and we'll talk about it on the other side. Why do you do what you do? It's one of my favorite questions to ask a client. You could have done anything you wanted with your life. Why did you choose this? And the answer is always fascinating to me because it's a question that I had to ask myself. I honestly did not know what I wanted to do with my life or where I was supposed to be. I grew up in a Hollywood household and I got my first camera when I was 5 years old. This is it. My father was a television director and he was a master storyteller. I used to visit my dad after school, and on a break he would break down a scene for me and show me the ins and outs of filmmaking. Needless to say, I was hooked. I wanted to be my dad. I started as an actor. I worked in production, I worked in casting, and one day I was at a speakers conference because I was trying to be a public speaker. And at lunchtime I sat down, this woman sat down next to me, and she turned to me and she said, "So what do you do?" And without hesitation I said, "I'm a filmmaker." Now, other than some student films and a birthday video I made for my dad, I had never made a real film in my life. But her eyes just lit up. She's like, "Oh my God, I've been looking for somebody. I need somebody to film this documentary on my work, on my business." And I must have been channeling my father because I said, "Sure, let's script it out." And I grabbed a piece of paper, and for the next half hour, we start sketching out the storyline and her business why. And it turns out that her why for her business is to support these indigenous Indians in the jungles of Panama. So after about a half hour, she basically hires me on the spot. And 4 months later, 2 of my filmmaking buddies and I are traipsing through the jungles of Panama, and we're filming these tribes and we're telling her business story. And sometime during this, I was looking around and I was like, this is pretty cool. I could get used to this. She took that video and she presented it to the United Nations, where she shared her why these Kuna Indian tribes need support. And she got the resolution passed, and she's made tremendous impact with these tribes in Panama. So why do I do what I do? I help people tell powerful stories, not just to grow their business, but to find their deeper purpose so that they can make an impact with the world. And I do it not just because it's what I love, but because it's what I feel I'm meant to do. Like my father, I am a storyteller. From the doctor who uses humor to teach, to the speaker who helps people find their voice, to the chiropractor who treats each patient like family, and the dozens of other business that I've had the pleasure to serve. If I can help you find your why, and you're ready to turn that into a message that needs to be heard, let's talk. All right. Cool. So that was actually an older version. I re-recorded it and my eye. I totally scratched my eye, and so it got really red, and I had to submit it for this competition. which I made it into the top 10 of hundreds and hundreds of videos submitted. So that was really cool. But you get the idea of basically when you look at your why video, you go back and look at the markers that have shaped who you are today and what were the significant events that shaped that journey. And so let's if that makes sense, give me some thumbs up and some hearts. What about that resonated with you? If you watch that video, put in the comments like what's one thing that you remember from that video that you just watched. What was the one thing that stood out to you? Was there a moment? Was there a certain bit of language? Was there any piece of that is memorable to you? And we'll talk about why it's memorable. So go ahead and you can always put that in the chat. I'm going to continue. Let's break down sincerity. Thank you so much. Angela says sincerity. Yeah, it's very important. When you're speaking about your why, it has to come from your soul. It has to come from your gut, because people crave authenticity. They crave, they crave real. And I think we've become much more sensitive to it. We become much more in tune when people are spouting, BS. We kind of feel that and smell that from a mile away. So when I work with people, I help them get down to the dirt of it. Like, what is the gritty truth? Raw and real is what we're always striving for. And to be able to allow yourself to be vulnerable to feel, to allow yourself to be able to go there, if it gets emotional, that's realness. People think that vulnerability is weakness. People who have that belief, they don't understand the power of vulnerability. And it has to be relevant. I mean, it can't just talk about, try to make yourself cry because you're talking about, your dog dying or something like that. I mean, that's like, acting, one-on-one, like I'm performing for you. This isn't about performing. This is about being real and genuine for the person on the other side of the lens, as if you would talking to a person that's right in front of you. But the goal is always to just be authentic and sincere and share your truth. So sincerity and authenticity are huge. Let's look at, I'm going to break down and if this is valuable, and if you have any questions, feel free to ask. But let's talk about this why story. And it's a basic 3-act structure, like any video. I'm going to put myself here. Basic 3-act structure, like any video. It has Act 1, Act 2, and Act 3. Act 3. So let's just keep it simple. 3-act structure. In the beginning, you have the hook. Now, $1 million question about the hook. What can the hook be? The hook can be literally anything that gets people to stop the scroll. Hashtag stop the scroll. The hook is what brings people in. If you don't have an effective hook, and I'm always testing hooks, especially with clients, testing different hooks. If you don't have the hook, they're not going to get through the video because they're going to check out or tune away or click away in the first 10 seconds. Now, people are going to do that anyway if they're not your tribe. But if you can get them to stop, as they're scrolling and they see, your video, if you can get them to stop, then you've won that battle. Hook, check. All right? And so for me, I asked a question. People ask me why I do what I do. All right? So there's an element of curiosity. And that's what an effective hook does. It gets people curious to want to watch more. If this is making sense, give me a thumbs up, give me a heart. After the hook, what comes next is you need the 2 most vital elements in any story. I don't care whether you're doing a how-to video. We're not really talking about how-to videos. We're talking about why videos. But in any video, you have to have the 2 forces of conflict and desire. These are two opposing forces, right? Pushing against each other. Conflict and desire. If you only have one, you have no story. If you don't have either, you don't have a story. Conflict is the tension between the wind and the sea that causes the ripples. You have to have both forces moving. That's what gets people to move. So the conflict is based on either pain, or it's mostly based on pain, and desire is based on pleasure. But if you go to the surface, instead of going to a deep pain, if you just go to the surface level, it could just be a frustration. And over here we have, and if you want to go deeper, it could be a fear. And then here we have a want and we have a desire. I use this a lot. I use Star Wars a lot because it's just a simple hero's journey. The only reason we care about Luke Skywalker is because we all understand what it feels like to be in a job that we hate. When we meet Luke Skywalker, he's, I don't know, late teens, early 20s, whatever he is, and he is stuck working on his uncle's farm. So that's how we can relate to stories about aliens and talking robots and stuff like that, is because there has to be a human connection. And the reason Luke Skywalker is our protagonist, and the reason we can step into Luke's shoes, is because he wants to go explore the galaxy. He actually wants to join the Empire, because they're the ones that are hiring pilots. But he wants to join, even though he's curious about the rebellion, he wants to go to the Academy, and the Academy is owned by the Empire, the bad guys. But it's like, I want to go to the government, so I want to join the Navy so I could see the world. He wants to get the hell out of this, off this planet and off this farm. And his uncle says, next year, I need you this year. Next year you could sign up. He's like, it's a whole other year. And so the frustration that's inside him, the frustration is that he wants to go. He wants to leave. He wants to live his life away from this place. And the fear is that he's going to be stuck here forever. And the want is that he wants to join the Academy. And his desire is to see the world, to see outside of his galaxy, whatever. And we relate with that. And once we relate, we make that connection between the conflict and desire. Now we're invested. And so in your why story, let's bring it back home. I don't care what your business is. Let's say for a second you're a coach. The frustration is when you started coaching, it was an incredible slog. Like, I don't know, how do I get clients? What do I have to do? How do I make these videos? How do I structure my content? You have all these questions, and it just seems overwhelming. Then add all the business stuff on top of it, right? And so you have pains and frustrations when what you really want is you want to have the freedom to set your own hours, to be able to make a good income, and to be able to have the flexibility and freedom to do what you want to do when you want to do it, and spend more time with your family or travel or whatever it is that your desires are. Now we have conflict and desire. And if that is your truth and your story, I just made one up, a scenario up. But if that's your truth and your desire, you share that and they go, I relate to that if I'm your audience. And that makes sense to me. And so once you have that conflict and desire, now you've moved past Act 1. And now in Act 2 is basically, what are the reason why you decided to do this was because of this pain and frustration and this desire. And then what happened? What were the moments, usually 3 moments within Act 2 that shaped how you accomplished the thing that you wanted. If you have this desire in any good story, if you have this desire, this want, you better get it by the climax of the end of Act 2, right? Or close. It's got to be, you got to get it like somewhere within this range here. Otherwise, the story just goes on and on and on and on and on. We're like, where does it end, right? This is basic. This is stuff I learned in Muse Storytelling and other people. But basically, if you're going to make a video, 25% needs to be Act 1, about 50% needs to be Act 2, and about 25% needs to be Act 3. And this can be 25 to 30, and this could be, 15, 15 to 20, so whatever. You get the idea. We don't want the ending to be too long. But this is the concept of telling your why story. Why do you do what you do? Would be the question I would ask you. What is it about it? Where did it start? What were your thoughts? What were your fears? What were your frustrations? What were your desires? What were your wants? And then once we tell that, how did you get it? What were the things that you did? What did you discover? These are called hurdles. And you have to overcome these little mini hurdles along the way so that you get stronger, right? That's what makes a good journey, is that you didn't just succeed. It wasn't a straight shot. There were some things that happened along the way, lessons you had to learn. And then once you learned those lessons and you finally achieved it, now you look at your life today, and now you have a totally different perspective. What did you learn? And then we go into Act 3, which is, what did you learn? And that usually is what you impart to your audience, what you want them to do. And then you finish with a call to action. So this is the basic structure of a why story. And it's like any other story: beginning, middle, end. If you guys have any questions on that, go ahead and pop them in the comments below. And if I don't answer them right now, if you're not here, if you're watching this on replay, I'll answer the questions in the comments. But the reason a why story is so effective is it gives people a behind the curtain look at who you are and why you do what you do. And that builds trust, and building trust goes a huge way toward getting people to actually want to buy your product or service or decide to work with you. You want that know, like, and trust factor. So, does that make sense? I think we're gonna finish up for today, unless there's any other questions. I have it's usually an open Q&A. So if anybody on the call has any questions that you want to ask me, it could be about story structure today, because we're really talking story structure. But if you have any other questions on technology and gear and things like that, or marketing and funnel strategy, anything like that, feel free to post them in the comments now. So hopefully this was valuable. If it was, give me some thumbs ups and some hearts. And I wanted to share one thing with you. Next week, we are not meeting at 2. We are meeting at 12 noon Pacific Standard Time. And the reason is because next week, a week from today, I am doing a 3-hour workshop. I was thinking Gilligan's Island, a 3-hour tour. I'm doing a 3-hour workshop on live streaming. And what we're going to focus on, it's called Level Up Your Live Stream. And what we're going to focus on the 3 main areas of live streaming. We're going to demystify the technology. What do you need to go live? What is all that you need to go live? Yes, you can go live with your phone. Let's take it to another level. What are some things that you can add to your live streaming package, whether it's using a DSLR camera, whether it's getting more professional lighting, whether it's getting a stream deck. But whatever your budget level, how can we take your live streams to a whole nother level? So we're going to demystify the technology. The second thing to do is we're going to create what I call must-see TV. How do you create a show, whether your show is 5 minutes, 15 minutes, or half hour? How do you structure a show where people want to tune in every single week? I've been working with this with some clients and helping them create a YouTube show. And it's really exciting because whether you bring guests in each week, whether you have a video that you can play for being on the scene, some sort of vlog style video. I think of the terms of like daytime television. Daytime television has segments, and we're going to go over what are effective segments that you can use to give your show some variety. Or if you're going to do just a 3-minute live, if you're going to go live like every other day or every day or once a week, whatever you do, if you have an impromptu thought and you want to go live on it, what is a simple 3-part formula for you to go live and have total confidence to be able to go live every single time you want to? I don't need much other than a Post-it note and a pencil because I follow the same structure. And then finally, we're going to talk about your talent. We're going to talk about how do we unleash your X factor and bring more of your authentic self to deliver to the camera, so that when you're having a conversation with people, it's authentic, it's sincere, people feel you, they like you, they trust you, they want to work with you. You create that sense of authenticity on the fly and on live whenever you go live. So whether you're recording, this could also be applied to whenever you record videos that you upload later. But specifically because live, unless you've been living under a rock, you've noticed how much more live we have. We have Zoom calls. I've spent like the last several months, I've spent like half my life on Zoom. We have Zoom calls. We have live streaming. We have, FaceTime. There is so much more live going on. How do you make it really effective? So it's called Level Up Your Live Stream. For everybody that is in this Facebook group, if you go to that page, levelupyourlivestream.com, you'll see on there that it was $247 and there's a discount, 20% discount. It's $197. But if you go there and in the coupon, you use the word story. If you use the code STORY in the coupon, you get it for an additional 50% off. So it's $97 for the 3-hour workshop. And it's going to be on Zoom. If you go to that page today and you type in story and you reserve your seat today, I will send you all the details via email because I just put up that page like yesterday, and I don't even have a thank you video on there. So if you sign up, I'll get an email. I will email you back right away and give you some of the details. But it's really going to be awesome. I'm so excited. I've been wanting to do this since March, since I noticed with COVID and all this stuff, people have been doing so much live. And so I've noticed things that are really effective from watching other virtual events and things that I wanted to bring into my own virtual events. So it's going to be great. The 3 things we're going to focus on, we're going to focus on the tech, we're going to focus on your talent, and we're going to focus on must-see TV. And those 3 areas we're going to be going over. Plus, there's going to be some exercises during the breaks. So you're going to break out of your comfort zone, and we're actually going to implement things. So it's not just passive writing down some notes. There's going to be some things that you're going to get the opportunity to do, and you might even get some clients right during the 3-hour workshop. So very cool. I hope you join me. It's a week from today at 2:00. Go to levelupyourlivestream.com and sign up. So that's all I have for you today. And if you have any questions, go ahead and post them in the group. Next week, we are going to be live right here at noon, 12 o'clock Pacific Standard Time. And this has been great, you guys. Thank you so much for all the hearts and likes. And I will see you in the next video. Take care, everybody.